Hey everyone, nice to see you guys. How's everyone doing today? Let me see. Let's add. Let's. Oops, sorry guys. Okay, give me a second. Hi. Hello. Let me see. How are you doing? How's everyone doing?
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for asking. It's good to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to finally see you in person. And after we've been talking, I was like, oh, cool. I get to see her.
What's that? I couldn't hear you that great.
Oh, I said it's great to meet you after being able to talk to you for a while and just like messaging back and forth. I was like, oh, great. We get to meet.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah, how about you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Great. So I'll just keep it at this volume for the rest of the time. uh, so do you want to just jump in or do you want to give it a few minutes?
We can just jump right in. That's fine with
Okay.
me.
Okay. So I'm gonna start by just introducing myself and then I'll pass it on to you. So my name is Maribel Francisco. I'm a money coach on Instagram. Hey, and everything you guys are gonna hear here is informational only. It is not meant to be advice. Not like certified financial advisor and even much not even certified money coach. So I'm passing on to you, Sarah.
Oh, hold on. My internet connection is so crappy right now. I am like having trouble hearing you. It's like super spotty. Mace, can you set this up right for me? There we go. Are you able to like hear me and see me? Because I have
Yeah,
really good internet.
I can see you and everything.
Okay. Okay. All right. But I missed the first part of your introduction though, just because my internet was a hot mess a second ago.
Yeah, I was just saying that this is just all informational. None of it is investment. So nobody come back and tell us that you've made a really bad investment in trying to. You want to go?
I feel like one of those people that's like, I'm having tech difficulties. Like, I didn't catch everything that you said.
Don't worry, just an intro. Go for it.
Okay. All right. I caught that part. Just the intro. All right. So, I am Sarah, and I am with the Crypto Click. And basically, I love to help people build wealth, and I love to teach about crypto and help people understand it and help them to understand how they can get into the crypto space and start earning money from either trading or long-term investing or just doing some swing trading as well. So that's my goal and the purpose of the Crypto Click. So it's good to have you on here, Maribel. Are you a crypto investor yet?
So not yet. I am looking to get into it maybe later in the year once I feel that I've set everything up correctly. So it's great to have you here because it's going to be a learning experience for me as well. And we invite anyone who has questions to put them in the chat, and we'll talk about them here. What about you, Sarah? When did you start?
So I got into crypto back in like December of last year, and kind of like you explained with your situation, you said you're kind of like just waiting and you're going to plan to invest on it a little bit down the road. I was the same way. Like I watched from the sidelines for probably like 5 or 6 months before I decided to finally dive in and buy a course from a like, you know, fellow influencer to learn about crypto. And that was the tipping point for me, you know, just watching and seeing how crazy the markets were. And then I finally just nervously decided to take the leap.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like that's with a lot of people, right? Like, it's one thing to have all the information, but then some people get stuck in learning mode, whether it be your 401k, your IRA, stocks, or crypto investing. They're kind of just like, I need more information. I need more information before they can take that leap and just make that decision. Was there something that led you that you were like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get off the sideline. I'm going to go? Or was it just like, was there anything specific that made you take that step?
Was there anything specific that what?
That led you to take that step, finally take that leap to invest in crypto?
Yes. Once I started researching the science behind crypto, especially Bitcoin, because you know there are a lot of scams out there on the market, and a lot of the crypto projects aren't true. Like, some of them are rug pulls, so you have to be careful what you invest in, and you know where you put your money to do your research. But the tipping point for me was just researching actually like Bitcoin and the reasons why, you know, crypto was created and the problems that it helps to solve. And then you know, like, maybe I'm a nerd, but I bought a book. I decided, you know, that was like the other tipping point for me was I bought a book called Crypto Assets, and it basically was like a total beginner's guide to long-term investing. And that filled in a lot of the informational gaps that I think a lot of people are looking for. And that was when I just decided to go ahead and go for it, because that book, Crypto Assets, has, you know, basically it tells a story of a guy, you know, who came from the stock market and who basically he was explaining, you know, the similarities between crypto and the stock market, and, you know, and also the differences. But just seeing that markets are markets, you know, whether it's a crypto market, a corn market, or, you know, the fiat market. A market is a market, you know, the way it moves and the principles of supply and demand. So once, you know, he kind of broke all that out, it made me feel a lot better about investing in crypto.
Right. Yeah. So we did have a question. One of the questions that came up was, do you invest in something other than crypto?
Yeah. I am you know, I have a workplace 403b. I have a regular 403b. I have a Roth 403b. I have a 457, and then I have an old IRA that I moved into like a rollover IRA that's hanging out with Fidelity right now. So yeah, I definitely invest in more than crypto, but I wish I'd gotten into crypto sooner.
Is crypto a big portion of your portfolio, or are you able to share like a percentage of your portfolio that it is?
Crypto is about 10 to 15% of my portfolio right now, and I actually plan to expand and make it more of my portfolio.
Okay. And they said, Sarah, out of curiosity, what do you do for work? Are you in the financial world?
What do I do for work, and then what?
Are you in the financial world?
I actually, I am in the procurement world. So I am a procurement officer for a school district in the state of Virginia, and I deal with like the bids and the requests for proposals when we have to spend, you know, public funds. So I come from like a supply chain turned into procurement and like contract management world. I'm not in the, like, I went to school for accounting, and I have my bullshit degree. I mean, my bachelor's. No offense to anybody who has a bachelor's. You know, it's a good thing to have, but you know, sometimes I feel like it was a bullshit degree. But I have that in accounting, and but that's the most financial experience I have. Everything else has just been through like self-research and really just digging deep and doing my own homework and research on crypto.
Yeah. No,
What
yeah,
about
and
you?
I'm part of, so I got my BS degree as well in international business, and I currently work as a senior financial analyst for a corporation.
Oh, sweet. Are you able to say which corporation, or you'd rather keep that like on the
I
DL?
feel like if somebody Googled my name, that you could find me. I'm like totally on LinkedIn, and you could find me, but I just don't trace me eventually. But yeah.
Gotcha.
What kind of coins do you invest in? So is it like Bitcoin and Ethereum, or do you have other smaller coins that you're also investing in?
Yeah. I also invest in VeChain, Orchid, and I've put a little bit of money into Sia Coin. That's a real low cap crypto. But yeah, those are the three. Oh, and also Polkadot. I've invested in Polkadot as well.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm actually studying for my master's in computer science. So in one of the hackathons, we made a coin called Soul Coin, which was to get people to do green energy. So if you bought green energy type things, you could then harvest the electricity, sell it back to the electric company, and get paid in Bitcoin, and thereby reinvest that into the community, get like solar panels, windmills in your community. Or if it was actually going to be expanded out to supermarkets and such, you could start actually buying that, buying like food and real things with like blue coins. So it's so great, just the space and what you can do with these coins. I think it's so awesome.
I totally agree. Sorry
Are
for
you
my.
able to explain? Are you able to explain staking? So I heard staking is like you get interest, right? From your holdings. So I feel like when I first heard about it, I kind of equated it to like a high yield savings account, just with more risk because it is a digital coin. Are you able to explain staking a little bit?
Yeah. So staking is similar to a high yield savings account, like you said, or you can also like in your mind if you're a stock market investor, you can kind of think of it as a stock that pays dividends. So like, when you stake your crypto, basically you just agree to let another party or entity hold your crypto, and in exchange they reward you for borrowing your crypto. They pay you back out in crypto. So it's similar to like you putting your money in a bank account. It's the same principle, just with crypto, but it pays a lot higher APYs than what fiat money does.
Right. And is it as safe as putting it in a high yield savings account, or is there risk because it is that digital coin?
Um, because
Or
I've been
just
in
what's your
crypto,
take on it?
or what?
Oh, I said just what's your take? It's okay. It's nothing official. It's more like what do you feel about it?
When I first um, when I first moved one of my like big sinking funds, my house down payment fund, when I put that
Mhm.
into stable coins and staked that, not gonna lie, I was like a little nervous, but the more I've been in the crypto space, the more I realize like stable coins it's just like holding a dollar, so I don't think it's that risky as long as you have your stable coins like on a reputable exchange, or if you're staking them, make sure you're staking your crypto in a reputable place. Don't use some sketchy website to stake your stables.
So so stable coin, I know there's more of them, right? Would Bitcoin count as a stable coin? Or is that
does which
different?
does
Does
which one count?
Bitcoin?
No, so the stable coins are tied to an asset, like one for one. So with stable coins, they equal $1, or they would be the equivalent of $1, and they'll always be fixed at that same quantity. You're good, you can sit back. My son's like crouching out of like crouching down in his seat, trying to like hide
I can hardly see him. I can't even see him. He's good.
Yeah, I'm like, sit up, bud, sit up. But no, Bitcoin isn't a stable because the price of Bitcoin fluctuates. Like stable coins will always be $1, no matter what happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
supply and demand, like when the markets move, like stable coins, like I'll clarify, they fluctuate a little bit, but they fluctuate between like 0.999998 cents and then like $1 and 0.00002 cents. So they fluctuate like the teeniest bit.
Okay. And then are you able to share what you use to hold your stable coins and stake your stable coins?
Share what? Where I hold and stake them?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I love crypto.com, that app. It's an exchange. You can buy crypto, and then you can also stake it there. And then the other place that I like, oh, that's a cute little light there. I like Celsius. Sorry.
That's fine.
Great. And then you can like Binance auto stakes their coins. Kraken, I also stake like Polkadot on Kraken because they pay like 12% staking rates on there. So those are just a few of the places. But if you're feeling
Oh, you're cutting out a bit.
uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. I feel like the old Verizon commercial. Like, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, the service seems to be spotty. I'll let you know when I can hear you again. But yeah, for everybody else on the call, this is a great time to just say, put your questions down in the comments. Hey, you're good. You're good. Yeah, everyone. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments and we'll answer them. We'll try to get to it on this live. And if not, you can always go check her out on her page because she's very knowledgeable about the crypto space and what she's talking about. So it just seems like she's having a little bit of technical difficulty, but here we are. Good. You good?
I think so. Right, let's pray for the best.
Yes, we're good. You're back.
I forget what we were talking about, but I'm
So
curious
where you were holding your coins. And I heard everything up until I think Kraken, and you said you like to use crypto.com, I believe.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to get like extra risky, my son here, he's like, Mom, this is what you were talking about. Like, thank you, bud. He's helping me out so much. There is something called you can do, and you can earn between like 60 and like over 3 figures in APY on your like stable coins, but it is a lot riskier than just staking them on like crypto.com or Celsius, like basically one of the exchanges or one of the dedicated hot wallets for crypto.
Okay. Can you say the name again?
Of the exchanges?
No, the one you just mentioned.
The yield farming?
The last one that you said has 3-digit APY.
Oh, yeah. A lot of the decentralized automated market makers like on Binance has its own like blockchain now. It's called Binance Smart Chain, and you can check out some of the automated market makers there and stake your money on a couple of the different market maker platforms. Or sometimes they'll be referred to as liquidity pools, and you are like, instead of yield farming, you can just deposit your crypto and your stables into a pot of money with other people to provide liquidity for others to borrow, against, and you can earn interest that way as well.
Okay. So somebody had a question and they said, how soon should someone expect to see a profit in crypto investments? Take it away. I feel like this is a long haul type of game, but correct me if I'm wrong.
So they said what? How what do you need to make a profit, and then what else?
How soon should they expect to see a profit?
Well, it depends on how they've invested. Like, it depends on their strategy. So and it also depends on how much they've put in and at what price did they buy in. So
Right.
Without knowing more of those factors, it's hard for me to answer your question. But if you want to drop your situational factors into the comments, I'm happy to help speculate.
Right. So if anybody wants to speculate on crypto, feel free to drop your scenario in the comments, and we can answer that with a little bit more detail. What is something that you would tell someone that's like a brand new crypto investor and they're like, I'm gonna YOLO it and put all my money here?
I would tell them to make sure they invest in a reliable crypto. Make sure that they've done their research first, and that whatever they're investing in isn't, going to be a rug pull. But I think that if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I probably would have said, don't do it. It's a bad idea. But at this point, I wouldn't tell you take your whole life savings and YOLO into a crypto. But if you were going to take half of your savings and YOLO into Bitcoin, I would say, hell yeah, do it. Your future self in 5 to 10 years is going to thank you.
Right.
But it's all in. Sorry, I cut you off.
Go for it.
Well, it's all in people's goals and objectives. If you have an immediate need for the money, then it's stupid to YOLO in and do that. If you're looking to make a quick buck, then it's kind of stupid to YOLO in and do that, depending on what price point you're going to buy in. So it just depends. It depends on their end goal for getting into crypto. And if they're going to be a long-term investor, then this is a game you can't lose. But if you're expecting to make money overnight, like anything, it takes time and consistency.
Right. So for you personally, do you see this as a long-term investment for yourself?
I use crypto as both. So I have some of my coins that I'm holding for the long term, and then I use some to short-term trade with and make quicker money. So, and I've also got my son bought $3 worth of orchid, so I thought that was so cool that he decided to invest.
So does he have his own account, or did you make one for him, on his behalf?
No, I can't make one on his behalf yet. I just bought it through my account. So yeah, it's sitting in my account.
So do you just give him little updates, or how often does he ask for updates on how his investment is doing?
Yeah, typically every weekend he'll ask me, hey mom, what's the price of orchid at now? Where's orchid?
Yeah, it's great that you get him started young, or just at least knowing about investing in general. I think it's super awesome to just be able to pass on that information to the other generations and then our peers, and just be like, it's safe, it's okay. Just definitely do your research.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you and what you've got going on. Are you you're coaching people into building generational wealth? Is that what you and Our Wealth Matters is about?
Yeah, so Our Wealth Matters is about teaching people, and especially females and immigrant families, about financial just literacy in general. So getting them to do an emergency plan before they, YOLO their money anywhere else. Make sure that they have that financial safety net that they can fall back on if they like end up losing their job. And then also getting them educated about 401ks and IRAs, because 401k, if you get a match, is a great way to just double your money instantly. And that's like, unless you're gonna go to crypto and you got like the next big coin, like doubling your money is like so out there. Even just with index funds, that are like super safe in the stock market, that's not gonna happen like straight away. So 401ks, the IRA, because it's such a great deal because you can put the money in and you can take out your contribution at any time. Like ideally you want to leave it in there, but if you really press for money, that's somewhere where you can go. And then teaching them about personal brokerage accounts and just getting them to become empowered in their own finances so that even when I'm not there, once they've left the session with me as their coach, they can go like, okay, I did X, Y, and Z. I now feel like I can repeat that. So if I help somebody open their brokerage account, then they're like, oh, now I feel like I can open my IRA, or I can also go and talk to my HR about my 401k because now I know what's going on in there. So that's what I'm mostly focusing on. And then beyond that, getting them to also teach their children and their friends and their just family in general. Because I feel like immigrant families go through so much shit just to get to another country, all in the name of trying to make more money. But they go working day in and day out to make up wealth. Just kind of like playing a video game. You just go from point A to point B without knowing that there's a little tunnel that gets you there much quicker, which is what the retirement accounts are. And once you get comfortable, what your investments can become if you go to index funds and invest long term.
I love it. I love what you're doing, and I think it's awesome. And the impact like that has is tremendous, because a lot of people don't realize that just by keeping their money in the savings account in a bank and not actually investing it or putting it away for retirement, that it's losing money sitting in a savings account, even a high yield savings account. Like your money is,
right.
You're losing your money in a high yield savings account. Like my interest rate right now on my American Express high yield account is 0.04. Like how is anybody supposed to make anything on that? I think like all of last year I earned $24 on my high yield savings account. Like when I had to file my taxes, I was like, really, $24 I earned all year long on my roughly I think it was maybe four to 5,000 I had in my account, but it was just nuts. And then when I moved my money over to stable coins and staked it with Celsius, and I started earning 8% interest, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I wish I had known sooner. But to the same, to that same extent with just in the non-crypto world, like with the stock market, just I love that you're educating people on the fact that they actually have to invest their money in order to preserve their money.
Yeah, agreed, because I feel like even if you, like you said, put it in a high yield savings account, your money's still going down just because of inflation. And so your money actually gives you less and less buying power the longer you leave it in there if it's just sitting in a savings account. And so I had always wanted to get into investing, but I felt like I didn't know where to get started. I thought you had to invest in single stocks. And then once I learned about index funds, I was like, that's me. That's where I'm going, because it's so low maintenance. And if you find the low cost ones, like Fidelity right now has zero cost index funds because they're trying to attract that new millennial generation, so that once you grow wealthy, you'll go with them. And Vanguard already reduced the cost to 0.04%. So Fidelity was like, we're going to zero. And I was like, all right, if you want to give me the savings, I will take that. So I was like, it's low cost, low maintenance. It's only going to be sitting in a bank account and losing its buying power. So I was like, yeah, this is where I'm at. I don't want to be freaking out every single day, going like, um, I don't know, just freaking out and going like, hold up, I think we lost her. Let me get her back on the line. So if anybody has any questions, hey, you're back. If
Sorry,
anybody has any questions,
my
bring them
phone
down.
just fell off.
Are you okay? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I've got my tech advisor, here in the car with me, so he's helping me out with things.
That's great. No, yeah, I have siblings too, and they're in the Gen Z, and I'm like, I should probably hire them on as like TikTok advisors. Like, guys, what's the hottest thing today?
Is that fund, the Fidelity one you were talking about? Is that the with the no fees? Is that like zero? It's like zero total fund or something like that. Is that the
Yeah. So I know that they have at least three. So there's the zero cost, like total stock market. There's one for the total stock market, one for the S&P 500, and one for international. The S&P 500 zero cost one, they don't name it S&P 500 because they would have to pay for the name rights, but they're all there. And if you guys want the names of those, you can ask me. I can drop them in later. Or if you want to know, Sarah, I can look up my list because I don't know them off the top of my head.
I actually was like, I was looking, and because I have some money in one of the Fidelity gold funds, just as a little bit of a safety net. Yeah, I invest in crypto,
Yeah.
but I also have a little bit in gold too.
Yeah.
Diversity.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
I was looking at selling some of my gold, and that's when I came across I was looking at Fidelity's like low cost index funds, and that's when the zero popped up. But that's interesting. You just definitely taught me something new, and probably the rest of the audience, because I didn't know that they have to pay for licensing and to use the S&P name.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, because they actually do have an S&P 500 like index fund, but that one does have an expense ratio attached to it, other than like zero. It is still pretty low, but
is that
excuse me?
FXAIX? Because I think that's the one
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the one. So that one does have an expense ratio attached to it, and I'm guessing that's why, because they at least have to pay for the name, right?
So tell me, are the zero expense funds, are they just as good as the funds that do have a little bit of an expense ratio?
So right now, so what you can do, right? They give you a summary at the bottom, and they give you the benchmark. So they'll tell you how the S&P 500 has been going up, and then they'll benchmark against that, so you can actually see if they've been doing better, about, fairly similar, or below that. And that's just general that you want to do with anything that you're going to invest in the stock market. But they've been pretty good about keeping in line with the S&P 500. So I do have some money in the zero cost index funds with Fidelity, but then I also have some money in VT stacks over with Vanguard. So I'm just like, even though that has an expense ratio, I'm just like, okay, if one goes down, I still have the other one.
Yeah, I get you. And I mean, even if you have to pay like a little bit in expenses, it's I think like even if the expense ratio is like 0.04, that's literally like $40 out of 1,000. It's such, or out of 10,000, like it's such a small amount in fees over a long amount of time. But I mean, I guess everybody's different in what they want to pay.
Yeah, because I remember seeing some posts that were like, oh, if you have an expense ratio of 1 point something something percent, consider like these other ones that have 0.04%. And I'm like, dude, I'm here deciding between 0.04% and 0.00%. Like, we're not messing around. I know expense ratios can like stifle the growth of your investment. So you know how there's graphs, it's like you could have had this much money, but because you were paying an expense ratio, you're now down here because
just as your compounding interest is growing in the stock market as you leave it there, so too are the admin fees that you're paying. They're reducing that money that's actually being compounded. So you can lose like thousands of dollars depending on how much you have in the account and how long you're leaving it there.
I've seen the graphics like showing over time, you know, how much you lose, but I didn't know they take it out of what should be compounding.
Well, because the expense ratio is like every quarter or something, right? It's not a one-time fee. So every quarter they're taking a little and a little away, right? And so it's chipping your amount just as it's growing. It's also kind of going back down because of the expense ratio. So it becomes pennies, but once you get to like your $1 million, it kind of starts becoming more. And if you're on like a path to fire or something, you're trying to get to like 1.5 mil or 3 million. And so you're trying to keep anything from reducing you if you can help it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question, and this wasn't on our agenda, but I'm like, hey, maybe
Go
you
for it.
might know. Yeah, go for it. Can I invest in an ETF in my like 403 or 457, or can I only choose index funds for those accounts?
So it depends on your employer, right? So I'm going to kind of go back because I know 401ks. At least with 401ks, your employer chooses what you're able to invest in within that plan. Because technically it's your employer's plan. So these plans are usually out of the grasp of creditors and the IRS because technically you don't own the plan, your company does. So thereby they get to choose what your offerings are. So that would be something like when you go into your 401(b) and look at the summaries online, you should be able to see what you can invest in. So if there's like target date, funds, or other things, you should be able to see it. And if you're still not quite sure, you can call your HR up and you can ask them how to get in contact with that brokerage company that holds your plan. And then go and ask that brokerage company, like, hey, what are my options? And I'm sure, at least for me with Fidelity, they're more than willing to take their time and walk me through what my options are.
Wow.
I know, right? No, yeah, as I'm getting people started, because Fidelity and VT Sachs do have low cost index funds. Oh, yeah, I heard the part where Fidelity should sponsor me, and then I didn't hear the rest.
Oh yeah, like Fidelity needs to pay you to do some ads, or like sponsor you.
Yeah, I'm actually getting people signed up because Fidelity and Vanguard have the low cost index funds. When I'm trying to get people to just open up an IRA account or something, that's one of the options that I let them know. Like, if you want to open it with these, I have firsthand knowledge on how to help you. Otherwise, we can look up, if you want any other broker, we can look it up. You can go off and research it, come back to me, and we'll go through the process of opening that up for you. Because I feel like, again, as I was saying in the beginning, like a lot of people have that information, but it takes someone like a coach to come and be like, let me take your hand, or, don't freak out. I'm here with you. I've done it. If you're going to freak out, go ahead, but we're still going to get this done at the end of the day. You want to open a brokerage account before the year's up? We're going to open up a brokerage account before our session is up.
Nice. Well, I really admire that though, and I like that, and I like the place you're in where you are also coaching people. I'm like aspiring to get to a place where I'm coaching people to invest and teach them with crypto. So if it's okay with you, I would love to like maybe do another live and like pick your brain on getting started with that whole coaching process.
Yeah, of course. And total disclosure, like I have a business coach because I was like, I want to get to that point where where I'm helping the people, right? And so the hardest part is going out there and getting your message across and getting the right people to come to you and going like, I need help and I'm ready.
to get started. So I got a business coach, and I was like, I'm not messing around. Yeah, like in the first week, I was like, yep, you're my business coach, and my business coach is a business coach who helped another coach in my space get to where she's at now. So I liked the results, and I was like, yep, it looks like your method works. I'm going with you. Teach me everything you know.
Nice. That's well. I'll have to like get the name of your coach from you, because I know there's like a million of them out there, and finding a reputable coach who's gonna get you those results, I think, is like one of my next steps, maybe. But yeah, I like what you're doing and the wealth building impact you're making on your community. Like, that's so badass. Keep doing what you're doing, lady.
Thank you so much. Are there any last comments or questions that you wanted to ask, or anybody in the audience? Sarah, I'll pass it on to you. Do you have any last questions or comments?
I don't think so. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
Yes, it's been really nice to meet you, and we'll have to do this again, and we could talk about coaching and just getting you there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Maribel.
All right, bye. Thank you. Thanks so much for taking the time and joining.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Oh, bye to your baby over there. Bye.
Bye, y'all.